What's up, crew? Sales Sensei here, and in today's video, I'm going to talk about one of the most important traits that I find is the difference between the top performing sales reps on my team and the bottom of the barrel underperformers. And that one trait is continuous hunger and learning, right? So there's actually a Japanese principle called Kaizen. What Kaizen is an approach to making small, continuous, gradual improvements every single day to eventually reach your goal, right? It's not about trying to 10x and make these big leaps and bounds. It's actually being focused on one core thing, which is how can I get 1% better today, right? This is actually something that I teach a lot of my sales reps when they're first starting out. And why this is super important is because guys get distracted with the big numbers, right? They try to compare themselves with like the top performers with people who've already been in sales for years. And I say, guys, it's not about looking at these big, grandiose goals. It's actually just focusing on one thing, which is the process. So I know with my sales guys, if they focus on mastering one piece of the process at a time, that's really where the magic happens. So I'll give you guys an example, right? If I'm in sales and I want to improve, let's say my sales call, I'm not going to go out and just be like, hey, I'm going to improve my sales call. I want to actually chunk it down and get very specific on what parts I'm going to improve. For example, there's 3 parts of a sales call. The first part is discovery, where you ask the majority of the questions to understand their pain, their goals, their motivations. The second part is the pitch and presentation, right? Where you explain how your solution actually bridged the gap with what they want and what they're looking for and what they're at, right? And then third is going for the close, saying the price, handling objections, anything like that, right? So instead of saying, hey, I want you to get better at sales calls, I might say, hey, let's focus on your discovery first. These are the 10 parts of the discovery. This week, I just want you to focus on the introduction, nailing down that first piece of discovery. And why this approach works to actually chunk it down and compartmentalize it is because it allows you to actually focus and create intention in what you're learning, right? Back to the Kaizen principle, 1% better. I'm not expecting my guys to learn how to pitch and be good at discovery and close the deal all in the first week. I might just be saying, hey, I just want you to get better in the introduction and discovery. And then after that, we're gonna work on how you probe and clarify. Then after that, we might actually just finish up discovery and then focus up on the pitch and presentation. So if you're newer in sales or you're just someone who's looking to get better, I really invite you guys to get super focused on what is the specific part of my game that I want to get better right now, right? That's the 1% principle. Because here's what actually happens when you stick to the principle of Kaizen and you work towards gradual improvements each day, is you actually start stacking wins. So you find yourself getting better at discovery and your closing rate might go from like, let's say 15% to 20%. Then you start working on pitch and presentation. Then it goes from 20% to 30. And then you start getting better at the close. And then it's 30 to 35, 40, 45%. And that incremental increase, right, going from 20 to 40%, through that process of Kaizen, you've actually doubled your income. You've doubled your commissions. So if you're only making, let's say 5K before this process and approach, 30, 60, 90 days later, guess what? You're making 10K per month in your commissions. So it's not about saying like, hey, how can I get from 5 to 10K like this week or this month? It's by asking yourself, what part specifically in my sales game can I actually work on improving using the Kaizen principle? So that being said, it doesn't just pay to actually understand the principle. We actually want to start implementing this and also tracking this bad boy. So one of the things that I take a lot of my coaching clients through, right? For example, one of my coaching clients, Oliver, shout out to you, Oliver, if you're watching this. He's a badass, man. I call him the piff master now because he's actually been getting piff after piff after piff. And when we were watching Oliver's first initial calls, he had a hard time really dialing down discovery. And he came to me, he was like, hey, Larry, I actually want to get really good at objection handling. I want to understand how to overcome those objections. And I said, hey, Oliver, before we can talk about objection handling, we got to focus on the core that makes up 85% of the sale, which is discovery. So first, I actually walked Oliver through what are the core key questions that we're going to dial down discovery. Then once we dial down discovery, the nuances there, tonality, cadence, what were the right questions to ask at the right time. It was only then we started to move to the other parts of the call. So pitch, the presentation, objection handling, going for the close. And little did you know, he stacked up every gradual improvement every single day and every single week, and Oliver has been close to almost doubling his closing rate. So he's actually on track right now. It's January 2024, if you guys are watching this in the future, and he's literally on track to have his best month yet, right? His best month yet. And the reason that is because we weren't talking about, hey, what do I need to do to have my best month next month? We actually started working in late November. What I focused on is what parts of the process, Oliver, what parts of the small incremental improvements, what are the specific things we can chunk down and make it bite-sized to help you improve and grow? And it was through mastering the process, not looking for, the big jumps, right? Or the big, eyeball catching numbers. It was actually following the process that allowed him to get closer to his eventual goal. So that's really the key, guys, is we want to start tracking this stuff. We want to start measuring it. I have him sending me his numbers on our coaching calls, and we actually get to see step by step, hey, are you actually making the increase in percentage? Are you actually making more in terms of cash collect? Are you actually making more in revenue? It's not enough to feel like you're getting better. We actually have to know that we're getting better. And the way to do that is making sure that you know your numbers and you're tracking it through reports, spreadsheets, end-of-day forms inside of your team, right? Last but not least, the most important principle behind this Kaizen philosophy is understanding this is a long game, not a short game, right? Guys, I invite you to think about this for a second. If you got 1% better every single day for the next 365 days in this year, what would actually be possible for you come 2025, right? Because the biggest mistake that I've made is I'm trying to get 2 times as good over a 30-day period. And what happens is you might make progress, but they're not consistent progress that is stacking. For example, you might do really well in January, but then you're not following the same habits, the same process, the same things that led you to up level in February. So you kind of go right back down to where you started. The key is not about trying to make these big leap and bounds in progress, but stacking and allowing the compound effect to really take hold. Because like Albert Einstein once said, the 8th wonder of the world is the compound effect. So this Kaizen principle actually ties in to the compound effect for improving skill sets. You do that, and you getting that 10, 15, 20K plus per month in commissions is insured for your future. So that's really it, guys. If you guys enjoyed this video, give me a follow below. Sensei out. Yo, what's up, Sales Samurai? If you like that free training, then I'm actually gonna give you guys a little bonus and secret. So I'm giving away a free sales training course inside of our free school community. Now, in that training course, I'm walking you guys through all my strategies, my tactics, and everything that I use to go from 0 to 5.4 million in high ticket sales. Now, also, if you're someone that is newer to the high ticket sales space and looking to get into it, or you're looking for your next 6-figure sales offer, then I got something special for you. I'm actually making intros, connections, giving you guys my tools and frameworks on how to land your next 6-figure offer, what I call a rainmaker offer, inside of that free community as well. So click the link and the bio in the description below. My team will approve that immediately as soon as we get that, and we'll see you guys on the other side. Sensei out.